I'm Dustin, one of the Ozcode magicians. In this two-part video, we're going to look at the Ozcode Compare feature. Oftentimes when we're debugging code, we end up examining and comparing objects. Either we examine objects of the same type in a collection, or we examine the same object instance before or after various operations have occurred. Visual Studio gives us tools to examine objects such as the data tip window and debug visualizers for quick access, and watch windows for short and long-term monitoring. But what happens when the objects go out of scope? Well, you lose access to them. Visual Studio does allow us to create an object ID to get around this, but it's only slightly helpful and does not create an independent clone of the object. There's no easy way to compare two objects without manually drilling down to each object and comparing each property one by one. There's also no way to compare the two states of an object instance either. Of course, Ozcode has us covered. With Ozcode, you can compare both simple and complex objects. Let's examine this instance of the order details object and compare the individual line items. Next to each item in the data tip window is a compare icon. When you click it, the compare setup window appears with the item you selected at the top. From here, you select what you want to compare it with. Notice that every object type is grayed out except for the line item types. Ozcode makes it easy to see which objects we can compare. If we drill into the line items and compare cost, again we see everything except order total is grayed out because cost and order total are of the same type. So you couldn't, for example, compare a complex object with a string. With the compare feature, we can compare up to 5 items at one time. So let's compare all of the line items in this order. The compare window lists the type and its properties in the first column, and then lists the values of each of those properties for each instance we're comparing across the remaining columns. This format makes it quick and simple to compare. Notice that Ozcode compares values character by character, highlighting the differences of each position, making it very easy to see the differences. Down at the bottom, we have a Show Differences Only checkbox, which will remove properties from the comparison when they have the same value, leaving behind only properties with values that are different. This filters out a lot of the noise and reduces the amount of searching we have to do. You can compare local variables all the same, either from the data tip window or from the Quick Actions menu on the left. With the Quick Actions menu, Ozcode gives you a list of comparable variables that are in scope. So if we wanted to compare A with B, we select it from the Quick Actions menu, and the compare setup will be populated for us. If we also wanted to include C in our comparison, we can click the plus icon to add a new comparison. This time we get a drop-down containing a list of local variables that are available to be compared. So we can select C and then click Compare. If we want to remove an object from the comparison, we can click the Delete button next to it. With the Ozcode Compare feature, we can compare up to 5 objects at the same time, be it local variables, complex objects, or different items from the same collection. Ozcode's Compare window makes it easy to see differences by laying out objects in columns and highlighting individual characters, saving us time and a whole lot of effort. In the next part, we'll look at comparing different states of an object using snapshots, and we'll also look at comparing strings using your favorite diff viewer. Thanks for watching.